Hello children, myself Naila from St.Georgia Girls School Hajipur is going to help you study the geography topic chapter 4 agriculture for class 10. According to George Washington, agriculture is the most helpful, most useful and most noble employment of man. What is agriculture? Agriculture describes the practice of growing crops or raising animals. Someone who works as a farmer is in the agriculture industry. The Latin root of agriculture is agri or field plus cultura, cultivation. Cultivating a piece of land or planting and growing food plants on it is largely what agriculture means. Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. It includes the preparation of plant and animal products for people to use and their distribution to markets. Agriculture provides most of the world's food and fabrics. Agriculture plays a critical role in the entire life of a given economy. Agriculture is the backbone of the economic system of a given country. In addition to providing food and raw materials, agriculture also provides employment opportunity to very large percentage of the population. The main source of raw materials to major industries such as cotton and jute fabrics, sugar, tobacco, edible as well as non-edible oils is agriculture. Moreover, many other industries such as processing of fruits as well as vegetables and rice husking get their raw materials mainly from agriculture. India is an agriculturally important country. Agriculture produces most of the food that we consume. Agriculture also produces raw materials for various industries. Did you know India is second in the world in crop output next to China? 1.4 million square kilometers of land in India is under cultivation. Agriculture is India's biggest economic sector and employs 52.1% of total workforce. What are the types of agriculture? Types of agriculture. Agriculture not only gives riches to a nation, but the only riches she can call her own. Nomadic rearing, livestock ranching, shifting cultivation, intensive subsistence farming, commercial plantation, Mediterranean agriculture, and commercial grain farming. What is shifting cultivation? When cultivation is done on small patches of land and the patch of land is changed frequently is called shifting cultivation. Now let us study what are the different types of farming. Over years, cultivation method in India have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how and socio-cultural practices. Farming varies from subsistence to commercial farming. At present, in different parts of India, the following farming system are practiced. We have primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming and commercial farming. Did you know agriculture is the largest livelihood provider in rural India. Let us understand what is primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is still practiced in few places in India. It is practiced on small patches with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dove, and digging sticks, and family or community labor. This type of farming depends upon monsoons, natural fertility of the soil, and suitability of other environmental conditions. It is also called slash and burn cultivation. Farmers clear a patch of land and produce crops to sustain their family. When soil fertility decreases, the farmers shift and start cultivating in the same way on a fresh patch of land. This allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil. Productivity in this type of farming is low as fertilizers or modern inputs are not used. What is intensive subsistence farming? This type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. It is labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. Though the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rendered landholding size uneconomical, the farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land in the absence of alternative source of livelihood. Thus, there is enormous pressure on agricultural land. Did you know 12% of world's farm land is in India? What is commercial farming? In this type of farming, higher doses of modern inputs like HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, and pesticides are used in order to obtain higher productivity. The degree of commercialization varies from region to region. For example, rice is a commercial crop on Punjab and Haryana, but in Orissa it is a subsistence crop. What is plantation? Plantation is a type of commercial farming. It is the type of farming in which a single crop is grown on a large area. The plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. Plantation use capital intensive inputs with the help of migrant laborers. All the produces is used as raw materials in respective industries. Tea plantation in Assam and North Bengal, coffee plantation in Karnataka, banana plantation in southern part of India, rubber plantation in Kerala, bamboo plantation in northeast India, etc. are some important plantation crops grown in India. Since the production is mainly for market, as well developed network of a transport and communication connecting the plantation area, processing industries and market is present. Let us study about the cropping pattern. India has 3 cropping seasons. They are Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. What are Rabi crops? Rabi crops are sown in winter from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. The important crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard. The states where Rabi crops are grown are Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, and Western Uttar Pradesh. Mainly, these states are wheat producing states. Availability of precipitation during winter months due to the western temperate cyclones help in the success of these crops. The success of green revolution in Punjab, Haryana, western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan has also been an important factor in growing of Rabi crops. What are Kharif crops? Kharif crops are sown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country and harvested in September to October. Important crops are paddy, maize, jowar, bajra, tur or arhar, mung, urad, cotton, jute, groundnuts and soya bean. Some of the most important rice growing regions are Assam, West Bengal, coastal regions of Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra, particularly the Konkan coast, along with Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Recently, paddy has also become an important crop of Punjab and Haryana. In states like Assam, West Bengal and Orissa, these crops of paddy are grown in a year. Zaid crops. Zaid season is a short season between the Rabi and the Kharif seasons during the summer months. Crops produced are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables and fodder crops. Let us understand once again the major crops. A variety of food and non-food crops are grown in different parts of the country depending upon the variation in soil, climate and cultivation practices. Major crops that are grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, maize and pulses. These are grains. Sugarcane, oilseeds, tea, coffee, horticulture crops are food crops other than grains. The non-food crops are rubber, fiber crops, cotton and jute. Did you know India produces 51 major crops? Rice. Staple food crop of a majority of people in India is rice. India is the second largest producer in the world after China. Kharif crop, which requires high temperature above 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 centimeters. Rice is grown in the plains of North and Northeastern India, coastal areas and the deltic region. Development of dense network of canal irrigation and tube wells have made it possible to grow rice in areas of less rainfall such as Punjab, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan. In this map, we can see the states where rice is produced. Wheat. Wheat is the second most important cereal crop. Wheat is the main food in north and northwestern part of the country. Wheat production requires cool growing season and bright sunshine at ripening. It requires 50 to 75 centimeters of annual rainfall evenly distributed over the growing season. The important wheat growing zones are in the Ganga Satluj plains and black soil region in the Deccan. Major wheat producing states are Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, and parts of Madhya Pradesh. This map shows where wheat is produced in India. Millets. Jowar, bajra, and ragi are the most important millet grown in India. Though these are known as coarse grains, they have high nutritional value. Ragi is rich in iron, calcium, other micronutrients, and roughage. It is a crop of dry regions, grown as well as on red, black, sandy, loamy, and shallow soils. Karnataka is the largest producer, followed by Tamil Nadu. Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Jharkhand, and Arunachal Pradesh are also important ragi producing states. Jowar is the third most important food crop with respect to area and production. It is ragi fed crop grown in moist areas. Maharashtra is the largest producer of jowar, followed by Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. Bajra grows well on sandy soils and shallow black soil. Rajasthan is the largest producer, followed by Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Haryana. Maize. Maize is used as both food and fodder. It is a kharif crop which requires temperature between 21 to 27 degrees Celsius and grows well in alluvial soil. In states like Bihar, it is grown as a Rabi crop also. Uses of modern inputs like HYV seeds, fertilizers, and irrigation have contributed to the increasing production of maize. The major maize producing states are Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. Pulses. India is the largest producer as well as consumer of pulses in the world. These are the major source of protein in a vegetarian diet. Major pulses grown in India are tur or arhar, urad, moong, masoor, peas, and gram. Pulses need less moisture and survive even in dry conditions. All these crops except arhar help in restoring soil fertility by fixing nitrogen from the air, because of which it is grown in rotation with other crops. The major pulse producing states in India are Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Sugarcane. It is a tropical as well as subtropical crop. It grows well in hot and humid climate with a temperature of 21 to 27 degrees Celsius and an annual rainfall between 75 centimeters and 100 centimeters. Sugarcane can be grown on variety of soils and needs manual labor from sowing to harvesting. India is the second largest producer after Brazil. Main source of sugar is jaggery, khansari, and molasses. Major sugar producing states are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Punjab, and Haryana. Tea. Example of plantation crop. Tea is a plantation crop. It is an important beverage crop introduced in India by the British. Tea plant grows well in tropical and subtropical climates endowed with deep and fertile, well-drained soil rich in humus and organic matter. Tea bushes require warm and moist free climate throughout the year. Tea requires abundant, cheap and skilled labor. Tea is produced with the tea garden to restore its freshness. Major tea producing states are Assam, hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri district, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. India is leading producer as well as exporter of tea in the world. Coffee plantation. India produces about 4% of the world's coffee. Indian coffee is known in the world for its good quality. The Arabica variety, initially brought from Yemen, is produced in India. This variety is of great demand in the world. Its cultivation was initially introduced on the Baba, Burden Hills, and even today its cultivation is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. What are horticulture crops? India is the largest producer of fruit and vegetables in the world. India is producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. It is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. India produces about 30% of the world's vegetables. It is an important producer of pea, cauliflower, cabbage, onion, tomato, brinjal and potato. Most fruits produced in India are apple, mango, banana, grapes, orange, lychee, guava, etc. The fruits in great demand are mangoes of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, oranges of Nagpur and Cherrapunji, bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, pineapples of Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra, apples, pear, apricots and walnuts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. India produces 13% of the world's vegetables. It is an important producer of pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal and potato. India accounts to 10% of the world's fruit production. Rubber. Let us study about the non-food crops. Rubber is a non-food crop. It is an equatorial crop, but under special conditions, it is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. It requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeters and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. It is an important industrial raw material. Rubber is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. India ranks fifth among the world's natural rubber producers. This pie chart shows the consumption of natural rubber. What are fiber crops? Cotton, jute, hemp, and natural silk are the four major fiber crops grown in India. The first three are derived from the crops grown in the soil. Silk is obtained from cocoons of the silkworm fed on green leaves, especially mulberry. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fibre is known as sericulture. Cotton. India is believed to be the original home of cotton plants, one of the main raw materials for cotton textile industry. India is the third largest producer of cotton in the world. Cotton grows well in drier parts of black soil of Deccan Plateau. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days and bright sunshine for its growth. It is a kharif crop and it requires 8 to 10 months to mature. Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh are the major cotton producing states. Now let us study about technology and institutional reforms. Agriculture has been practiced in India for thousands of years. Sustained uses of land without compatible techno-institutional changes have hindered the pace of agricultural development. Why has India not improved in technical and institutional reforms in agriculture? In spite of development of sources of irrigation, most of the farmers in large parts of the country still depend upon monsoons and natural fertility in order to carry on their agriculture. Agriculture needs serious technical and institutional reforms. Collectivization, consolidation of holdings, cooperation and abolition of zamindari, etc. were given priority to bring reforms in country after independence. Land focus was the main focus of the first 5-year plans. Right of inheritance has led to fragmentation of land holdings. Law of land reforms were enacted, but laws of implementation were lacking. What were the steps taken by the government in agricultural reforms? Government of India embarked upon introducing agricultural reforms to improve the Indian agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. Green Revolution based on use of package technology and White Revolution, Operation Food Flood were some of the strategies initiated to improve Indian agriculture. But this led to concentration of development in few selected areas. Therefore, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated, which included both institutional and technical reforms. provision of crop insurance against calamities, establishment of Gramin banks, cooperative societies, and bank for providing loan facilities to the farmers at low rates of interest were some steps taken. What were the other steps taken? Kisan Credit Card (KCC), Personal Assistance, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme (PAIS) are some other schemes introduced by the Government of India for the benefit of the farmers. Moreover, special weather bulletin and agriculture programs for farmers were introduced on the radio and television. The government also announces minimum support price, remunerative and procurement price for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators and middlemen. What are Bodhan Gramdan? Mahatma Gandhi declared Vinodba Bhave as his spiritual heir. He also participated in Satyagraha as one of the foremost Satyagrahis. He supported Gandhiji's concept of Gram Swarajya. After Gandhiji's martyrdom, Vinodba Bhave undertook Padyatra to spread this message throughout the country. Once he was at Andhra Pradesh, some landless farmers demanded land for their economic well-being. He assured them to talk to the Indian government for provision of land for them if they undertook cooperative farming. Sri Ram Chandra Reddy stood up and offered 80 acres of land to 80 landless farmers. This was known as Bodhan. Later, he introduced his ideas throughout India. Some zamindars offered to distribute villages among the landless. This was known as Gramdan. However, many landowners chose to provide some parts of the land to the poor farmers due to the Fear of Land Sealing Act. This Bodhan Gramdan movement, initiated by Vinodba Bhave, is known as Bloodless Revolution. What is the contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and output? Agriculture has been the backbone of Indian economy, though its share in the gross domestic product (GDP) has registered a declining trend from 1951 onwards. In 2010 to 2011, about 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector. Declining the share of agriculture in the GDP is the matter of serious concern because any decline and stagnation in agriculture will lead to a decline in our other spheres of economy, having wider implication for society. Establishment of Indian Council of Agricultural Research (ICAR), agricultural universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture, development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast, etc., were given priority for improving Indian agriculture. Through GDP rate, though GDP rate is increasing over the years, it is not generating sufficient employment opportunity in the country. Growth in agriculture is decelerating. Indian farmers are facing a big challenge from international competition, and our government is going ahead with reduction in the public investment in agricultural sector. Subsidy on fertilizers is decreased, leading to increase in the cost of production. Reduction in import duties on agricultural products have proved harmful to agriculture in the country. Farmers are withdrawing their investment from agriculture, causing a downfall in the employment in agriculture. These are the disadvantages or problems faced of agriculture. One of the major problems facing agriculture is the loss of agricultural land, because as more land is lost, it will become more difficult to produce the amount of food needed to feed the growing human population. So therefore there is a need for food security. What is food security system? In order to ensure availability of food to all sections of society, our government carefully designed a national food security system. It consists of two components: buffer stock and public distribution stock system, that is PDS. PDS is a program which provides food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized prices in rural and urban areas. The primary objective of this policy is to ensure food grains to common people at affordable prices. The policy focuses on growth in agriculture production and on fixing the support price for procurement of wheat and rice to maintain the stock. Food Corporation of India (FCI) procures and stocks food grains, whereas distribution is ensured by PDS. Do you know India is the largest waster of food? How are food grains produced? What are the disadvantages and advantages of this method? FCI procures food grains from the farmers at the minimum support price (MSP). The government used to provide subsidized on agricultural inputs like fertilizers, water, etc. But these have now reached sustainable levels and have also led to large scale inefficiencies in the use of these scarce inputs. Excessive use of water and fertilizers have led to waterlogging, salinity, and depletion of micronutrients in the soil. The high MSP subsidizes in input and committed FCI purchases have distorted the cropping pattern. Wheat and paddy crops grown in Punjab and Haryana are for the MSP they get, which has created serious imbalance in intercrop parities. How are consumers divided? What are its drawbacks or disadvantages? Consumers are divided into below poverty line (BPL) and above poverty line (APL). However, this categorization is not perfect as a number of deserving poor are excluded from BPL category and some of the so-called APL slip back to BPL because of the failure of one crop, and it is administratively difficult to accommodate such shifts. Therefore, how can we become self-sufficient? Self-sufficiency can be attained if government provides proper agricultural infrastructure, credit linkage, and also encourages the use of latest techniques. Instead of concentrating only on wheat or rice, the food crop with a better growth potential in that particular area must be encouraged. Creation of necessary infrastructure like irrigation facilities, availability of electricity, etc., may also attract private investments in agriculture. The focus on increasing food grain production, which should also be on sustainable basis, and also free trade in grains, will create massive employment and reduce poverty in rural areas. What is the future of Indians' food security? Shift from cultivation of food crops to cultivation of fruit, vegetable, oil seeds, and industrial crops. This has led to reduction of net sown area under cereals and pulses. Competition for land between non-agricultural users and agriculture has reduced net sown area. Productivity of land is declining due to fertilizers, pesticides, and insecticides. Scarcity of water has led to reduction of area under irrigation, whereas inefficient water management has led to waterlogging and salinity. This is the chart which shows India, the food grain production. Why has food grain production remained stagnant or fallen for 5 consecutive years from the above table? The reason is land degradation, reduced water storage in aquifers due to unsustainable pumping, inadequate storage and marketing facilities. Farmers have to pay high prices for HYV seeds, fertilizers, etc., but lack bargaining power to fix prices in their favor. Higher the supply, lower is the demand. This causes distress scale. Therefore, there can be no food security without security of small farmers. What is the impact of globalization on agriculture? In the 19th century, when European traders came to India, Indian spices were exported to different countries of the world, and farmers were encouraged to grow these crops. Even today, it is one of the most important export items from India. During the British period, cotton belts of India attracted the British, and eventually cotton was exported to Britain as a raw material for the textile industries. The Champaran movement started in 1917 in Bihar because the farmers of that region were forced to grow indigo for British textile industries. Under globalization, particularly after 1990, Indian farmers have been exposed to new challenges. Despite India being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries due to the high subsidized agriculture in those countries. To make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. The Green Revolution promised much, but it is being alleged that it has caused land degradation. The key word today is Gene Revolution, which includes genetic engineering. In fact, organic farming is much in vogue today because it is practiced without factory made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides. Hence, it does not affect environment in a negative manner. Indian farmers have a bleak future if they continue growing food grains on the holdings that grow smaller and smaller as the population rises. Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. This will increase income and reduce environmental degradation simultaneously. India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow a wide range of high value crops. Do you know organic agriculture will adapt to climate change more quickly? With this, I would like to conclude. As George Washington said, I would rather be on my farm than be emperor of the world. Thank you.